Bom dia, gente. Espero que você esteja tendo um ótimo dia. This is your man, Larry, the American Brazilian. Had a quick thought based on a conversation that I had saw, and it was the comparison of being complacent, the comfort of complacency versus the comfort of change. When you're complacent, there is a degree of comfort because there's nothing that you really have to do. You understand that where you are is okay. Things may not necessarily be where you want them to be, but they're okay. And you're okay with things just being okay. The problem with that is at some point, just being okay is not going to be enough, especially if you are a dreamer, if you're somebody who has goals, who's ambitious, who has dreams, and quite frankly, who wants to get from one quality of life to the next. Now, the thing about change is this. We all understand that initially change is not, well, it's uncomfortable. Just to be honest with you, it sucks sometimes. And the process of change sucks. But once you get to that area of life that you dreamed about, or I'll say this, once you get on the road and cross the hurdles, the daily hurdles that you need to cross in order to get to that ultimate place that you want to be, it seems as though when you look back on where you were that comfortable place, that place of just kind of like stagnation, then you begin to resent that place and you understand the time that you wasted staying there for such a long period of time. But see, here's the cool part about that. Sometimes we stay a certain place for a long period of time simply because we're not prepared to move. We wouldn't be able to handle the process of jumping over the hurdles to get to where we are. And what I mean by that is, have you ever started something that to get to a point where you know you wanted to be, but the hurdles just seem to be insurmountable? And so you backed up and got back to that place where you were, quote unquote, air quotes, comfortable, which was really just being stagnant. It frustrated you and you said, you know what? I'm gonna try it again. You crossed the same hurdles and you ultimately got that thing or to that place that you wanted to be. Not that the process changed, but you did. You were ready to put in the necessary work to get to where you wanted to be. A lot of brothers that I've been watching on the space, include myself, that are in the process of becoming expats, there are a lot of things that we do that are, I wouldn't say in the dark, but there are a lot of things that we do behind the scene. That's a better phrase. In the dark. There are things that we do behind the scene. And I will tell you, the process is not very comfortable. But in order to get to where we ultimately want to be, it's the more we take those steps forward, the easier it's going to become. And then when we look back on where we were, or where we was, then we'll think, man, I despise where, like, why did it take so long? We weren't ready to go. Now, for me, I wanted to do this in 2017, but I wasn't ready. And I'm glad, because I had a lot of things going on. The passing of my mom, the birth of a grandchild, a couple of grandchildren. So I had a few things going on. Now, the process, I'm walking the same process, but the weird part about it is it doesn't seem as difficult as it was back then. It doesn't seem as difficult as it was back then, because back then it was like almost pulling teeth every time. It was even difficult to get information. Not that the information wasn't readily accessible. It's just that when you ever looked at something and understanding the process or the instructions by which you're seeing was just like, oh my goodness, this is just like, I can't even process this mentally. Well, now I'm searching this stuff out, and it's like, I'm looking forward to doing it. And the stuff that I am doing, it's not as difficult. It's, quite frankly, it's kind of easy, and I'm looking forward to it. So I don't know who this is for. This is just probably me just kind of like rambling or whatever. But I will say this. Whatever it is that you want to do, continue to just start making the steps. And if it gets to the point where you just say, you know what, man, it's just, you know yourself. You know when something is like unusually difficult. And you know when something is just an obstacle that needs to be pushed over across. If you in the process, and this is how you'll determine that, if you're in a process of change, be it becoming an expat or anything that you want to acquire, right? And you look back on that comfortable place and you start despising it so much to where you're like, look, I don't really know what's up here, but I know I don't want to go back here, then continue on that path. But if it gets to the point where you're like, oh man, this is just like, you just start freaking out, then you might want to back up, because sometimes backing up is not a horrible thing, because sometimes it might really catapult you forward in a faster way. Because sometimes we have to back up and just kind of like assess things, you know, reassess stuff and make better plans and, you know, prepare better. I'll say it that way. But being comfortable is tricky. You have to determine, is my comfortability based on complacency, or am I comfortable because I am where I want to be or where I need to be? And even then, sometimes where we want to be is not somewhere where we need to be. And that's a whole nother conversation for a whole nother time. In any event, this is your man, Larry, the American Brazilian. Just wanted to just talk a little bit, share stuff that's on my heart. Yes, I'm in the expat process. Yes, I'm going back and forth. Yes, I am going to be that where I want to be, which is in Brazil permanently at some point. But until then, you just have to keep on the process. And the truth of the matter is this: I can leave today if I want to and don't ever have to come back. But I don't want to create collateral damage, because that wouldn't be smart. So, and that's another thing too. You have to be careful about the collateral damage that you create in the process of getting where you want to be. When it's done right, sometimes damage will be created, but it won't be insurmountable. So, in any event, fala conversei mais tarde. This is your man, Larry, the American Brazilian, saying até a breve. É verdade. É verdade looks pretty, don't it, with the colors? Talk to you guys later. Bye.